friends. Things continue changing, I suspect, for all of us. And I also suspect that there are some that are more alert to it than others. And so that would probably be you and me. I have a different kind of journal here. I keep two browser windows, and one of them is for current things, and then when I watch a video that touches me in a special way, I put it over to the other browser window, just in case it's relevant to a journal that comes up. So I put it there as things I'd maybe like to share. I've got a rather large backlog going there, and so maybe that's not the best way to be doing this anymore. So what this journal is it was inspired by one video, and I'm giving you the link to that video with the journal. And you know me, I may well add another video link or two. But the one that this is one by Abraham Hicks, how old is the universe? There's a pretty interesting question, wouldn't you say? All right, so this is from October 9th. The first one of that day, and the Mayan day, was 10 Rod. Rod is also called the bearer of time. I realized after I'd written this, and the journal is called What is Time? So here we go. It's kind of short, but be in your heart and enjoy the ride. This is something a bit new. I notice a response in me to some videos. Sometimes I set them aside as food for future links, future journals. Well, gee, I just went through this. As of now, I've accumulated quite a list of these. I don't know that it's something that is currently useful. I swear to you, I didn't read this before I just spoke with you. So, this is a new experiment offering a short journal as a response to a particular vid. Now, that means, of course, you'll need to click over to watch the vid to really understand where I'm coming from, so to speak. But still, if you don't care to do that, I'm sure there'll be something for you here too. This one is about time. Someone asked Abraham how old the universe is. The reply is short and sweet, and definitely something to chew over a bit. I watched it twice anyway, and I rarely do that. It's useful to help us uproot old beliefs. We don't fully get such things the first time due to those beliefs being in the way. But then we notice it, and maybe we go back and have another look, aware of the interference of that belief, and perhaps a bit more open to what's being said. So, what is time? More accurately, what is time-space, since the two can't be considered in isolation, not for very many things. After all, we measure distance as the time it takes at whatever speed to cross space. So, they coexist, the X and the Y. What is time-space then? What is a year? And does it have relevance anywhere but on Earth in 3D? I suggest that it doesn't, that as long as we take some aspect of celestial mechanics, of planets orbiting suns or the like, that this is only point specific. That is limited to a point in space, Earth, at a point in or a stretch of time, such as while Earth and our sun exist in 3D, in relationship to one another. If we were a spacefaring race, we would have to adopt other definitions. Our definition of a terrestrial year wouldn't play out well for those living on Jupiter or somewhere in the Pleiades, for instance. This is a natural result of taking a mechanical definition for time linked to a particular time space. It has limited applicability. So, what is time or time space? All that we perceive is a translation of frequency or vibration via the bodies we're working with, and in this case, human ones. This stuff, the stuff of matter, doesn't really exist, not as it's conceived of by the mind, anyway. It has no solidity, as every atom is over 99.9999 blah 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 % empty. There's nothing really there. Well, nothing that we can currently perceive via our senses. Nothing at all is what it seems to be. And that's a huge part of the fun of this whole exercise of being present in 3D. Be sure to have fun with this. Don't let it spook you or scare you. Now, sure, everything does seem to be a certain way, and it's enough of a sort of joint or corporate hallucination that we can agree on many aspects of it and be functional, but never on the whole. We just fool ourselves if we think we know what is what, in my humble opinion, or not so humble, whatever, just my opinion. So, what is more useful, or at least a more widely applicable time definition? One that applies to our brethren elsewhere in the universe, that translates equally, one for one. Well, what do we all have in common? And for now, we could say these 3D bodies. We certainly wouldn't have our location in common, being spread out in our locations. Well, could we use the human body to tell time then? We're already able to decipher the time it takes for all the cells in our body to expire and renew. 7 years. Now, sure, it would require that we adopt a very new sort of clock. We have to have one that measures the life of our cells. And no doubt it can be done, so that's just a technology thing. However, it gives us something in common so that no matter where the body resides in the galaxy or universe or maybe the cosmos, we could have something understandable across all locations. It would make sense. It would translate well to us all. This is a rather large shift in perception, or rather perspective, yet I'm sure you're up to it or you wouldn't be viewing these journals. Make it like science fiction, if you like, in order to bypass any resistance of mind, which generally prefers its comfort zone of the supposedly known. It just thinks it knows. Okay, how you doing? Let's say we've adapted to this, and it's been working for some nice stretch of time, the new time, of course. Now, here's a mind pretzel for you. What about a definition of time that also takes into account incarnations in other forms, other biologies? Would this still work? And how? First, for those of you who haven't yet considered something like this, I'd like to suggest that as infinite, eternal consciousness, you exist in way more than one form as more than one race of biological beings? Do spirit beings have biology? I guess not. Oh well. What about our embodiments as Pleiadians? Well, they're largely human, I guess. As Arcturians, and so on. How would it work for us as them? If you need it, take a few moments to adapt to the new idea, to make room for the possibility that you exist in other guises and disguises, not just with human form. You are unlimited. Stick to heart with this for best results. Okay? I suggest it would work out just fine. And here's how. Just as we have various clocks today telling the time in all the different time zones, we would have other clocks making the translation for those other biological forms. We'd have a Pleiadian, an Arcturian, a Jovian clock, and the appropriate algorithms to translate those times into human time. Instead of time zones based on location, it would be biological time zones. As long as, I get the sense this already exists on some other level. Maybe I didn't think it up. Maybe I perceived it. God, I don't know. As long as beings had a biology made up of cells or something akin to that, something that dies and regenerates or renews, this definition of time would be functional, at least. Its usefulness wouldn't likely have a way to extend to those quote-unquote forms we adopt that are more ethereal, more like spirit than matter. But that's fine. I suspect that for those forms, time would be perceived so differently anyway that it's probably good that this method might not translate there. Okay, just a thought piece, perhaps. I don't know. What say you? Namaste. And I put a PS on it. This was fun. Bet I'll be doing it a lot more. Hi friends. Things continue changing, I suspect, for all of us. And I also suspect that there are some that are more alert to it than others. And so that would probably be you and me. I have a different kind of journal here. I keep two browser windows, and one of them is for current things, and then when I watch a video that touches me in a special way, I put it over to the other browser window, just in case it's relevant to a journal that comes up. So I put it there as things I'd maybe like to share. I've got a video link or two, but the one that this is one by Abraham Hicks. How old is the universe? There's a pretty interesting question, wouldn't you say? All right, so this is from October 9th. The first one of that day, and the Mayan day, was 10 Road. Rather large backlog going there, and so maybe that's not the best way to be doing this anymore. So what this journal is it was inspired by one video, and I'm giving you the link to that video with the journal. And you know me, I may well add another